If you've been in therapy for what feels like your whole life, trying to heal your relationship with your body image, and you still feel like you hate the way your body looks and you can't seem to get out of this cycle with your body, I want to share what might be the missing piece for you on this healing journey. I want to teach you in this video how to specifically create a loving, peaceful relationship with your body, especially when therapy hasn't worked for you. My name is Julia. I struggled with my body until I was 30 years old, and I spent over 15 years in therapy, and I still felt deeply stuck and unworthy in my body image and hated the way that I looked, and it took over my whole life. But once I actually started addressing this missing piece, I learned how to have confidence and peace with my body, and I teach women all around the world to do the same thing. And my client Erica actually shared that within just a few weeks of working with me, she fired her therapist that she had worked with for many years and has actually, for the first time in her life, learned how to have total peace with her body and food. No more dieting, no more restriction, and is now living the life of her dreams. So if this sounds like something you'd love to learn more about, I'll invite you to book a free call with me to learn more about how I can support you and where you're getting stuck. And now I want to get into this video with you and really give you something that I know can change your life. I'm also going to take you somewhere more comfortable to talk about this with me, because we got to be comfortable. Listen, I just have to say, first off, I know how badly this sucks and how much this eats away at your life. I tell you with complete honesty here that this effectively ruined my life from the time I was 11 till the time I turned 30. So I do know firsthand how difficult this is and how important it is for you to get your life back. So I hope that even in this short video that you're going to take something away from this that'll be pretty magical in your healing journey. So what therapy is amazing at, and which, listen, I think therapy is fantastic. I'm not saying that you should go and fire your therapist. I was in therapy for 20 something years and there's a lot of value in it, but it is also quite limiting because we're not focusing on actually teaching you how to effectively change this behavior. We can talk about this in circles and get more awareness of where this started and why this came to be until you are 90 years old, but we actually need practical tools and strategies to effectively teach you and your brain how to think differently. And the big missing link here on this journey of healing body dysmorphia and helping you to have peace and confidence within yourself is your nervous system. And we're going to talk about exactly what that means. Okay, so I'm going to teach you a little framework here that, as I said, I know can be life-changing for you, because this is a piece of the puzzle that I share with my clients in my program, and I'll give you a very tangible example of the results that have come from my clients using this. So Erica, one of my clients, she was saying, I hated my body since childhood. She struggled with binge eating, constant critical thoughts. She said 98% of her thoughts were occupied and obsessed with how her body looked. And she had done everything, therapy, coaching, you name it, and she felt totally controlled by this prison. After joining my program, using this framework, going through these exercises repeatedly with me and our community, in the past 6 months, she stopped binge eating, she stopped restrictive dieting, she has quit her job, moved across the country, found love, finally has peace and freedom with her body image, and is happier than she's ever been in her entire life. And you can see that through these photos here that just show how she glows as a person who finally learns how to love herself and to stop investing all of her time in hating her body. So what do we do, and what is this framework? Remember that if you're really struggling and you want help, you're not in this alone. You can have a conversation with me or someone on my team, and we can talk you through where you're getting stuck and how you can actually fix this practically. And the link to schedule that call is in the description below. And I mean it, like, I care so much about you. I would love to talk to you. Here's the method, and commit to being present for yourself, because we need you to be present to actually get something out of this, right? So let's take a little notebook out and let's go through this framework together. Something I want you to understand is that you have a part of you that's an inner critic, okay? So I know you know this part of you really well. This is the part of you that has those body dysmorphic thoughts about yourself, right? The part of you that looks in the mirror and goes, I hate the way I look, I need to lose weight, I hate this part of my body, if only it were different, I would be happy. I have that part of me, everyone has that part of me. And let me be clear that through doing this work, it doesn't mean that you erase this part of you. We cannot erase any parts of us. But what we can do is we can learn how to go from fighting with this part of us to having a loving, compassionate relationship with this part of us that will quiet the intensity of this part of us. So where does the inner critic come from? And maybe you want to take a moment to even write down what some of these thoughts are. So maybe you can pause the video and write down some examples of those thoughts that this critical part of you has. What I want you to understand is that these thoughts from this part of you, it's just a part of you, it's not all of you. This part of you learned these negative critical thoughts from where? Where do you guess that these thoughts came from? If you grew up with a parent who had an unhealthy relationship with their body image, this inner critic learned those thoughts from these parents. That's one example. Society is the biggest example. So what do I mean by that? The patriarchy, capitalism, our unrealistic beauty standards, all of these pressures that we face as women to look a certain way, all of these teachings that tell us we're never good enough, no matter how what we look like, that constant suffering-based language, that never enough conditioning. I like to call it conditioning to just really remind your brain, this is conditioning. It's essentially brainwashing that all of us learn to believe from the time we were children to the time that however old you are today. So this is very important for you to understand. This is not your fault. You didn't learn to think this way through yourself. And it's not like we're trying to place blame on your parents either. It's to create awareness and to zoom out and go, wow, yeah, these aren't my original thoughts. This is not actually me. These are just thoughts that I learned to believe through media, diet culture, weight loss industry, etc. Furthermore, remember that the weight loss industry itself is a $586 billion industry that is entirely founded on the principle of you hating yourself. If you believe that you're not enough and you have to change your body, they win because you buy their products and you invest in what they're selling, and round we go. And you'll notice that nobody makes money off of you loving and accepting yourself. So that's very important. They want you to feel this way. They want you to suffer. Okay, very important. So we've got our inner critic, we understand that it has thoughts, and we're now understanding that it has learned these thoughts from society, conditioning, growing up, etc. So now what do we do? What I want you to understand is that this inner critic with these negative thoughts, they run on repeat. And the more we think these thoughts, the more energy they have, the more emotions they carry, the more negative they become, and the more that dysregulates our nervous system and keeps us feeling really unhappy. What the major problem is that we have been taught in our society, again, through conditioning, you got to fight the inner critic, right? You got to tell this part of you to kick dust, get lost. I hate my inner critic. There's something wrong with me that I have this. And what do you think happens when we relate to ourselves in that way? What happens if you yell at, let's use like another example. What do you think would happen if your friend was struggling with negative thoughts about herself, and instead of being kind and compassionate, you just yelled at her and told her she was an idiot and to get lost? How do you think that would go? Right, not very well. Not going to heal the problem, going to make it worse, and she's going to think worse about herself. So you might ask, why do we do this to ourselves? Because it's more conditioning. We have not learned through society to be kind and compassionate to ourselves. In fact, the same diet culture messaging about your body brands compassion as complacency and tells us that that's not productive, when in fact compassion is the only thing that's actually going to heal your relationship with your body image and this body dysmorphia. So what we want to be doing instead with this inner critic is to understand, how do you think this part of you is trying to support you? How might this little inner critic that has all these negative thoughts, how might this part of you be trying to support you? What do you think, if we were to assume that no part of us, we have many parts of us, if we were to assume that this inner critic had a positive role that it was trying to achieve, it wasn't trying to hurt us, it was trying to help us, what would be the positive thing that it's trying to do, even if it's not doing it? I'm giving you some time to think about it. Okay, now what I want you to do, so first of all, I want you to have written down some thoughts, some things that this inner critic part of you says on repeat. I want you to have written down what you think this part of you is trying to do to support you. And now part 3 is I want you to practice having a compassionate conversation with this inner critic. And you can do this in writing too. So if you were to talk to this part of you like a friend, like a best friend, what would you say to this part of you in a compassionate, caring way to help soothe this part of you and bring forward healing? Okay, so you might be feeling, I don't know how to do this. This is very foreign to me, and I'm here to help you. So what I want you to do is I want you to tap where I tap on my body if you're able to, and you're just going to repeat these words with me. And we're going to speak to that little inner critic part of you, okay? Okay, so even though I have an inner critic part of me, and this part of me learned all kinds of critical thoughts through diet culture, weight loss industry, unrealistic beauty standards. It's not my fault that I have a part of me that thinks this way. And in fact, this part of me thinks it's helping and is trying to keep me safe. I'm learning how to have a more loving, compassionate relationship with myself, my body, and this part of me. Everybody has this same inner critic part. This is not my fault. There's nothing wrong with me that I have this part. This part is just trying to protect me and keep me safe. And this is the part where we're going to speak directly to the inner critic part of you. So, dear part of me, I know you're working really hard to protect me. I know that you think you're helping me with all these critical thoughts. You think you're motivating me to be better, to be perfect. Thank you for working so hard. The truth is, these thoughts, these words that you say, become really harmful. I feel sad and depleted. And unworthy. And I'm learning how to have more compassion for myself and my body. It's okay that you think these thoughts. I know that they're not your original thoughts. This is the result of years of conditioning. This is a shared human experience. And I'm learning how to have more compassion for you and myself. And to know that we're not alone in this. And maybe there's another way that we can motivate ourselves that isn't based on criticism, but based on love and feeling enough as we are. Because I think we can both admit this hasn't worked. And I'm open to a new way of doing this. Okay, so take a nice, easy breath and just notice what's come up for you. How does it feel to relate to this part of you, to have more understanding of where it's come from and what it's trying to do? And how does it feel to practice self-compassion, to practice kindness for this part of you instead of hating this part of you or yelling at this part of you? This is something that facilitates safety within yourself and your nervous system, facilitates self-compassion, which are two very important ingredients that are essential on your healing. And we've also integrated a practical evidence-based tool to go beyond your conscious mind into your body and into your subconscious where all of this energy is stored. Just talking this through at a conscious level is not going to get us very far. So we really went deep in this video, and I hope that it was valuable for you. Please share in the comments what you're taking away from this. And remember that if you're really struggling, I'm here. This is what I care most about in the world, because I know how much this sucks the life out of you, and I know what it's like to feel like you can never break free of this. And chances are you're a very determined, driven individual who has worked already very hard at trying to overcome this and still feels stuck. And you're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. You just haven't gotten the right level of support to actually overcome this. And so I'd be happy to talk you through what that would look like on a free complimentary call, and the link is in the description. Sending you a big hug. Thank you for being here. And if there's someone that you think that could benefit from this, just share that with them, because you know what? There are so many people struggling with this, and we need more and more resources and support.